Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll focus on the third component of the PAT, which is the freehand drawings. Alright, so from this component you have to produce two possible design solutions. Alright, so in order for you to produce this design solutions, obviously you must know the requirements for the design, and also you have to read the presentation requirements as well for this PAT. Alright, okay, so let's say you are about to start with your rough sketch, all right, before you draw your freehand drawing on a grid paper. All right, so I'll have my scenario on which is page 10. All right, I'll use my scenario to come up with a design solution. All right, okay, so I'll start reading from the fourth paragraph. I'll just skip this 3 and start here because they gave me all the information that I need to come up with a design solution. Right, okay, so I'll start with the first statement. The building must contain 2 adjoining classrooms of identical size, each measuring between 65 square meters and 70 square meters. Right, as you can see there, I underlined these words. Why? Because they are very important. So adjoining means when you place 2 objects next to each other while touching. So it means those objects are touching and they are placed next to each other. So here, remember that talking about classrooms, so it means those classrooms must share a wall. So those classrooms will be next to each other while sharing a wall. All right, okay. Identical size, it means those 2 classrooms must be equal in size, and then the measurements or the area of the 2 classrooms, obviously they have to be equal, and the area must be between 65 and 70. All right, okay, so I have a schematic diagram here. Let's say these are the 2 classrooms. As you can see, they are placed next to each other. They're placed next to each other and they share a wall there. So those 2 classrooms are adjoining. So it means I met that requirement so far. All right, okay, and then I'll just continue to read through this few paragraphs. The 2 classrooms must be separated by a floor to ceiling room dividers that can be open to create one space. So it means that in between those 2 classrooms you must have a floor to ceiling divider or dividers, all right, that can open up. All right, the room divider can open from one side to the opposite side, or they can open from the middle to the sides. All right, okay, remember the floor to ceiling room dividers were part of your research, so it means you have to go back to your research and check how are the room dividers drawn on the floor plan. All right, so it means in between those 2 classrooms you will have to draw the room dividers. Okay, I'll just continue there. Each classroom must include a built-in cupboard for storing toys and equipment. So obviously I'll have to place the built-in cupboards here. Remember, same in size, they have to be equal. Large aluminum windows must be placed on one external wall of each classroom to provide ample natural light. All right, so it's up to you. You can place the windows that side or this side. All right, but they said on one of the external walls. So let's say you place your windows there. That means you met the requirement. Okay, okay, on the opposite wall. All right, so the opposite wall to this one, it's which one? It's this wall, right? Because they are opposite to each other. So now they are talking about this wall. Okay, on the opposite wall, aluminum sliding doors must open onto a 2-meter wide covered walkway that extends along the entire length of one side of the building. All right, okay, so it means on the opposite wall you will have to place what? The sliding doors. All right, okay, and then the sliding doors must open onto the 2-meter wide walkway. Is it 2-meter? Yes, 2-meter wide covered walkway. So it means obviously when you add the sliding doors there, it means you have a walkway in front. All right, okay, done with that statement. Directly in front of this covered walkway, a large outdoor play area must be provided, enclosed with a 2-meter high security fence. Okay, there is no need for us to add this outdoor play area. I'll skip that part. And then I'll move to the next paragraph. Separate boys and girls toilet facilities must be located at one end of the building, all right, and be accessible from the covered walkway. So they're talking about one end of the building. So this is the building. We have two ends, right? It's this end on my left and this end on my right. Okay, so it means I'll have to place the toilets on one end. It's either on my left hand side or my right hand side. All right, so if you choose to place your toilets this side, it's fine, you can place your toilets this side. All right, okay. And be accessible from the covered walkway. Remember, we have the covered walkway there. So this part, the wideness of this part here, it's 2 meters, all right, because they said the walkway or the covered walkway must be 2 meters wide. So obviously we have the walkway there. So obviously when you access the toilets, you must access the toilets from the covered walkway. All right, okay. Where am I? The boys facility must include 3 toilets, blah blah blah. That's for you. Okay, I'll skip that part and also this part. Okay, so this is all about the toilets. So this is straightforward. Obviously they gave you the number of toilets that must be added to the boys bathroom and also for the girls. All right, okay, so I'll move to the next paragraph. They are saying here, at the opposite end of the building, remember I said we have 2 ends. Already on one end we have placed the toilets, so now they are talking about the opposite end. So the opposite end, now it will be this one. On my drawing, the opposite end is this one. All right, remember you will have your own design. Okay, so I will have to add staff room, all right, where this side on the opposite end. This room must offer workspace and seating for 4 staff members and may not exceed 30 square meters in size. Adjacent, this is very important, adjacent to the staff room. Remember I have a staff room this side somewhere here. All right, adjacent to the staff room, a kitchen must be included. Okay, adjacent to the staff room, a kitchen must be added or included. So now because of this word adjacent, remember for the classrooms they said the classrooms must be adjoining. All right, so now adjacent, so it means the staff room must be placed in a certain way. All right, so I'll just explain the difference between adjoining and adjacent. Remember I said adjoining means next to each other while touching. All right, adjacent means the same thing, but the difference now is they are not touching. If you check those 2 rooms, they are placed next to each other, but there is a gap in between. They are not touching. All right, but when it comes to adjoining, those 2 rooms are placed next to each other and they are touching. There is no gap in between. All right, so it means also for the staff room and the kitchen, you must have something like this. They have to be placed next to each other, but there has to be a space in between. All right, okay, there can be a passage or you can place something in between, but there must be a space in between. I hope it makes sense. All right, okay, that's adjacent. okay, featuring a double sink, built-in cupboards, work surfaces, blah blah blah. Okay, the kitchen may not exceed 15 square meters. All right, okay. Adjoining the staff room, a sick bay must be added. All right, so remember, now you understand the difference between these two. So it means this on this opposite side or opposite end, right, we'll have a staff room, a kitchen, and a sick bay. All right, but you have to position them in a certain way. All right, remember this words when you position your rooms. Okay. Adjoining the staff room, a sick bay must be added, no larger than 6 square meters, and it must be equipped with a wash basin. Okay. The staff room, kitchen, and sick bay must also be accessible from the covered walkway and have aluminum framed windows that provide, okay, lighting. So they are saying all those 3 rooms must be accessible from the walkway. Remember, this is the walkway here. So when you go to the staff room, it means you have to access that room from the walkway, not that side, not behind, not at the back, right? So make sure that when you access the staff room, sick bay, or the kitchen, you have to access those rooms from the walkway. Okay. All right. I'm done with that paragraph. I'll just continue. Each classroom must be fitted with 4 sets of double lights or fluorescent lights to whatever, blah blah blah. Okay, this is something that you can read and add on your floor plan. And then always water and sewage from the building must connect to the existing sewer line area. Okay, it's fine. So it means when you draw your freehand drawing, you can read from paragraph number 4, 5, 6 to paragraph 7. So from paragraph 4 to paragraph 7. So this 4 paragraphs will help you to complete your freehand design or solution. All right. Okay, so here I was just explaining the important informations like adjoining, adjacent, how to place the rooms. All right, so yeah, so this is my own rough work. So obviously after drawing your rough sketches, you can add measurements. So when it comes to measurements, remember they gave us the square meters. All right, for example, I'll just make an example for the classrooms. They said the area of those classrooms must be within this given range, right? Okay, let's say I'll obviously if the area is 70 square meters, you have to get 2 numbers that when you multiply them together they give you 70, for example, right? Which is 7 and 10. So when you multiply those 2 numbers you get 70, right? Okay, so I can say that the length of the classroom it's 10 meters and the width is 7 meters. As you can see now, it means already have measurements for that room. All right, and when I multiply those measurements together I get 70. All right, so it means the area of this classroom does not exceed this area. All right, okay, I hope it makes sense. So for all the rooms you have to do the same thing. All right, okay, so that's it for this video. I hope it makes sense and I hope this video will help you to come up with your own design solutions. All right, okay.